The Cracked Plate, Season 2, Episode 1, The Brain's Pathways. Previously on Season 1, Jimmy and Mia faced the stories they'd been telling themselves for years, uncovering how past experiences shaped their fears, beliefs, and emotional reactions. Through intentional work, they began to rewrite their narratives. But the journey of transformation is just beginning. Have you ever wondered why some thoughts and behaviors feel automatic, even when you know they don't serve you? Why do old fears, reactions, and habits resurface, even after you try to change? The answer lies in the way your brain is wired. And the good news, it can be rewired. Welcome to Season 2 of The Cracked Plate, Rewiring the Mind. This season, we're diving into the science behind change, how our brains form beliefs, why we get stuck in patterns, and what it actually takes to create lasting transformation. With guidance from Olivia, the workshop facilitator, and Jenna's continued support, Jimmy and Mia will explore the neuroscience of emotions, learning how to break free from old wiring and consciously shape their futures. The first step, understanding how the brain's pathways are built. Jimmy sat in the familiar circle of Olivia's workshop, his notebook open in his lap. This time, the session wasn't just about emotions, it was about the science behind them. Olivia stood at the front of the room, marker in hand, as she drew a simple diagram on the whiteboard. Today, we're starting with the foundation, how the brain is wired. Because if you understand how your mind works, you can work with it, not against it. She pointed to a web of lines branching out like a tree. These are neural pathways. Think of them as roads in your brain. Every time you experience something, whether it's learning a skill, feeling an emotion, or responding to a situation, a pathway is formed. The more a pathway is used, the stronger it gets. The ones you don't use, they start to fade away in a process called synaptic pruning. Jimmy jotted down notes, his mind flashing to childhood memories. Was this why certain thoughts, like his fear of being abandoned, felt so automatic? Across town, at Jenna's dining table, Mia sipped her tea as Jenna flipped through the emotional menu book. You know how people say, "I'm just wired this way?" Jenna asked. Mia nodded. Well, that's kind of true, but also not. Jenna grabbed a pen and sketched a quick diagram of a brain. As kids, our brains are constantly forming connections. We have way more than we need at first, so over time, our brain keeps the ones we use and trims away the rest. It's why babies can recognize all sounds from any language at first, but as they grow, they lose the ability to distinguish the ones they don't hear often. Mia leaned in, intrigued. So you're saying the things we experience most, like certain emotions or reactions, become the ones that stick? Jenna nodded. Exactly. If you've spent years responding to conflict with avoidance, your brain has made that the default route. If you've been told you're not good enough, that pathway has been reinforced over and over. Mia sat back, absorbing the weight of it. So my fear of trusting people, it's not just an emotional thing, it's wired into my brain? Jenna gave her a knowing look. It is. But here's the part you need to hear, Mia. Wiring isn't permanent. That's what we'll focus on next. Jimmy sat in his apartment, staring at his notebook. He wrote, "Fear is a pathway, but if I built it, I can change it." Across town, Mia underlined a passage in the emotional menu. Your brain adapts to what you practice. If you practice fear, it strengthens. But if you practice trust, that grows too. She exhaled slowly, gripping her pen. Maybe change was more possible than she thought. On the next episode, as Jimmy and Mia begin to understand how their thoughts and reactions have been wired, Olivia introduces them to the next step, neuroplasticity. Can the brain truly be rewired, or are they destined to fall back into old patterns? Don't miss The Cracked Plate, Season 2, Episode 2, The Brain's Wiring in Action.